Hey everyone, welcome in. Betsperts Golf here for the end of the regular season. The Wyndham Championship, Sedgefield playoffs start next week in Memphis. Excited for that. Decent Sedgefield.
No, you're not.
I actually like that we don't have the staggered start. I think that's the worst thing ever.
That is pretty good. The fact that they did fix that, it made the final one very much, untenable.
It's like its own event, a normal event.
Yeah, you had this thing where it's like, hey, here's 5 guys who can win, because that's literally, how far back somebody's ever come. And it was like Rory. You need like a superhuman golfer. It has to be a top 3 guy who's just happens to be a little further down the board, which doesn't happen very often. So I'd forgotten about that. That's good. I like Caves Valley.
Caves Valley. Yeah.
Caves Valley. Caves Creek is like a city in Arizona, I think. Caves Valley. I don't hate Memphis. It's so hot. It's not like it wasn't hot. I mean, 3M was like 95 every day. It's not. It's going to be plenty hot in freaking Carolina. So it's just that time of year. But no, the playoffs are kind of a. We do this every year. It's not as exciting as the other playoffs in other sports, which are more exciting than the regular season. It is weird to have a sport built around 4 events. Can you imagine that? It was just like, Thanksgiving NFL is way bigger than the Super Bowl. Like, who cares about the Super Bowl? We already know who the best teams are. Like, because they won the Thanksgiving major, and they won the Christmas major. Like, he's got 2, the Chiefs got 2 majors this year. I mean, that's team of the year, in my opinion. So yeah, it's a goofy sport. Tennis is the same way. No one gives a shit about the tour finals. You want to win Wimbledon, you want to win the French Open.
Correct.
So this is where we're at, and it's fine. And yeah, the Wyndham is kind of a goofy event because you have a bunch of guys that don't want to play because they want to prep for making $1 bazillion over the next 3 weeks.
Sure. And
on the other end of the spectrum, you got a few guys who absolutely have to play because they want to be part of that group. And there are a few people on the bubble.
And I think an increasingly decent field because of the nature of, again, this is, I think, the 3rd year that we're in this situation where we're going from 125 in the playoffs to 70 in the playoffs. But we also have the shift coming at the end of the fall where there's only 100 tour cards up for grabs, right? So like all these points matter for these back end guys. So there's, I think, continues to be both for the Wyndham and the 3M more to play for. So like, I think you'll start to see continually better fields for those events because just fewer opportunities to get those points.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn on how that works with the standings. I know there's some exemptions and you keep your card for a longer time, but I mean, there's definitely guys that are chasing after their tour card, and like Homa's 104th, 108th or something in the standings. Like he needs a exceptional outing. There's a few guys that obviously there's always going to be somebody on the bubble just by the nature of counting. Someone is going to be 71. Someone's going to be 72. Someone is going to be 120. It's just how it's always worked. So it's fun to track those guys because it's crazy. Like if it's close at the end, and you don't really know because there's so many moving parts of there's other people in the bubble that are playing, and he can make this putt, but it doesn't guarantee anything.
Sure.
It's a lot more fun when somebody who's on the bubble just goes out in top 5s. Like, hell yeah, buddy, you did it. You're about to make a bunch of money next week. It's a fun course. It's a birdie fest. It's going to be 20 under or whatever, but it's still challenging. There's still some fun challenges. Similar to last week. It's like, hey, you can go beat the shit out of 3M. We're several 60s. Clean lifted place in not that particular order. Definitely helped round 1, but there was I think round 3 was the other 60. But there's water, like, last week. It says, hey, you can score, but you can also get in a lot of trouble. And same kind of thing here. Narrow fairways, kind of grabby rough at times, tough undulating greens, average size, but still tough, and then tough around the green play. Like, there's still some challenges here. So it's a fun one, I think. And, I mean, it's Carolina golf, man. There's a ton of good designs down there, and Sedgefield's definitely one.
Yeah, I think kind of a sneaky fun track, like you said. I mean, more elevation changes than you would think. I was there last year. Touched on this a little bit yesterday in the show too. Like there are times where they're on a Tuesday, no one's out there. There's no volunteer spotting your ball. There's no crowd. So I was basically a four caddy for a couple different holes, like blind tee shots. Guys coming down the field, they have no idea where their tee shots were. They thought they were good. They run into the rough, and you can't find it. Not because the rough is so tall, but sometimes this Bermuda gets really gnarly. I mean, sometimes you get a nice lie that sits up, but sometimes it just sinks to the bottom, which is not fun. So I think having, we looked at like splits often on grass surfaces. Oh, I want to see how this guy putts on, Bermuda or bent. But I also think like playing from Bermuda rough, chipping around the green on Bermuda rough is something that is really important too. And not always when we think of grass surfaces, I think we always just think of putting, but like, no, I suck on Bermuda. Like I just can't, I don't know.
Oh, and you're a northern boy. You're just
my golf game in the south is not good.
Yeah, it's like once a year you go on a golf trip and you have to play.
It's always in Bermuda.
But I mean, there are guys who are just less accustomed to it, or honestly, maybe just not as good at it because they have, some guys have better hands around the green and they can. It translates across different surfaces, and it's weird to say surfaces when you're talking about longer grass, but different types of grass, different agronomy, and yeah, we've mentioned that a couple times, and it shows in the stats. If you go look at this page, and maybe this is a good time to pull up the stats page for the course. And this is my favorite part about trying to figure out how I'm going to use the stats for the week to figure out who I'm going to bet and who I'm going to look at. And honestly, I've been talking to Cal, Link Calhoun, if you're familiar.
One of the best DFS players.
I've been getting a hankering to get back into DFS, and go face first, like the big deposit, go maximum contest, play a bunch of single entry stuff, and really spend some time on it. So I didn't have the time last week. I was traveling a little, going back and forth between the course. I went up there a few days. But this week, tomorrow's looking like it might be a day where I dig into that. So I'm excited because it's a good DFS week. When you have these fields like this and you have all these guys, like, again, hat tip to trying to think of his name. He was on Lack's podcast. It wasn't Brian. It wasn't Kirshner. The other guy, that's going to drive me nuts because I feel bad. But he mentioned Ben Coles, and then everything I did popped Ben Coles in my model. So I'm like, I got to bet this guy. 10-1 to top 20. And I bet it at Bovada, which was ties included because it was a big old chop otherwise. So I think, once you get a taste of that, you want to do it again.
Sure.
But I think it's another course like that where you have a bunch of guys that are way down the board that can absolutely, use their skill sets in this kind of course to have a really nice outing. And, maybe it's not somebody who can actually propel themselves into the playoffs too deep, but some of these younger guys or lesser known guys can definitely play. Go look at the leaderboard last year. Go look at the leaderboard last week. I mean, there's going to be some weird names. So, I mean, back to the original point, if you go down and look at the around the green play, if you wanted to switch the thing to that, or just the overall, comparing it to, I don't know what the name of this part is, the course metrics. If you compare it to a tour average, how the around the green plays.
Yeah, scrambling from the rough, tricky, very, very, very tricky here. High greens and regs, so it's tricky. These are tough weeks where I'm like, all right, well, yeah, it's scrambling from the rough is not great, but the greens and reg is higher than tour average, especially from the fairway. And there's such a premium put on playing from the fairway here. Like, look, 80, we're hovering between 84.5% greens and reg from the fairway over the last 5 years, like 8% above average, right? And guys are hitting a fairways at an above average clip too, right? You can see that here. We look it off the tee because you see driver usage. I mean, this is it right here, 52.2% driver usage last year. Guys are very cognizant of how this course plays when you are trying to navigate from the rough versus from the short stuff. So it's like, how much do I really want to weigh to pick a winner? around the green when I feel like
Yeah.
you're kind of SOL if you're having to rely on it too much.
So I think I still want guys who have higher than normal around the green or higher than normal greens and reg play. But it's almost like an if-then question. Basically, like, are you a tour average greens and reg percentage guy or better? Yes. If you hit the fairway, you're probably going to be on the green. And then around the green isn't going to come into play nearly as much. And it's basically, if you're not hitting the fairways, maybe nothing else matters anyway. If you're very wild off the tee, it doesn't matter how good of an approach player you are, because you are taking a huge dip from, I think, God, I had this somewhere, going from 73 from the fairway. 73% of fairway shots are going to hit the green, 55 from the rough, which is a sizable gap. It's not always that big. So if you miss the fairways here repeatedly and extensively, you're probably not playing the weekend, and all of the approach and around the green stats in the world aren't going to help you. So prereq is you have to be decent or at least average in accuracy, and maybe you can, split that out looking at less than driver courses or times where less than driver is often used. So it's tough because I do still want somebody with around the green, but it's still going to be weighed very lightly. And truthfully, we also have this conversation around putting and whether we want to use it, how much we're looking at it. I built the model, and then I basically took the same model, I copied it, and then I added just overall putting, not by surface, just 6 months of putting. Just I want to see guys who are absolutely horrific at it and maybe take them out. Compared to last week where those greens are flat and easy, bent grass, real forgiving. And look at some of the names. I mean, Kitayama was
painful. Modeled, I think he was second in my model.
He was second in my model. Yeah. Some of the guys, some of the names at the top, bad putters. Yeah, you can be a bad putter and win Detroit. You can be a bad putter and win, Blaine. No one calls it Blaine.
You only call it Blaine.
It's just a dumb suburb. You know what their hockey logo is? Big hockey town. Obviously, it's Minnesota. They have your Bruins. They stole it. I think the colors are slightly different. I was at a bar and all the coasters were Bruins logos. What the fuck is this? I think it might be the Blaine Bruins. Either way. These greens are the average size greens, as we mentioned, but a little tougher. I think these are tougher greens.
Fast.
So, it's going to be 12, 13 on the stimp, a little more undulation. These are not last week's greens. So, it's funny. I took last week's model as well, and I pulled it forward and just added putting, which is, if you've never done that in the rabbit hole, you can just go to the list of your models and hit copy. There's a copy page. And it'll just take that model. So you see, if you can see on the screen here, if you're watching, you hit the copy, it'll take that exact model and put it into the, your inputs. And then if you want to add or subtract from it. So that's what I did. I took the 3M model, added putting, because obviously it identified some guys that were accurate and good off the tee with good approach, which is what I was looking for. Birdies are better. Looking for that again. I added putting, and it was interesting because there were still some guys that were like bad putters that still rose to the top, because I still waited at 10%. I just wanted to be able to scroll over and look.
To see it.
It's sometimes, I've done that too. And maybe this is a little tip for somebody like that. You don't want to click on the names over and over. If you don't want something in your model, but you do want to peek at it like that, you can just add it at 0.1%. Just put it in your last column, at it. It's not going to really affect it at all, but then you can still scroll over and look. And that's basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to build last week's model and then go scroll over and look how shitty is this guy at putting? How good is this guy at putting? Yeah. And just overall. And it's funny, some of the same names like Rico Hoey, who over a big sample is a decent putter. He just had some scrapes here and there over the last couple months. But I mean, Kitayama came up, and a name that I'm actually pretty excited about, because I looked at this about 3 different ways, and you're going to be excited. And this kind of goes along with the Bruins theme. I'm very pro Keegan this week.
Okay.
I don't love the number. I can get close to a 30, but I don't know where his head's at either with, Ryder Cup stuff coming up very soon. But he matches up pretty well with what I'm looking at here.
I like Keegan too. It's hard not to like Keegan. I don't hate the number, but yeah, it's this is just kind of looking at last year's leaderboard here. You can see, you to putt, pretty much everyone at the top is gaining strokes putting for the most part. But there's even Hisasune made a mess around the greens and is very much in the mix here. You can see Eckroat Clanton barely did anything around the greens. Horschel lost around the greens and was had a decent finish, so it wasn't something that's separated. I mean, Gracerman had it. Should have won this event. Really choked on that back nine, but I just couldn't get it done. But he gained around the greens, so it's complimentary, but not something
That's
that
a good way to put it. Complimentary.
We're
gonna use that a lot.
Complimentary skill, but not something that's driving to the forefront this week. So, again, you can click on this. Is on the same page we were on. Just scrolling down, expand this.
Can you look at 2 years ago?
Yeah. This gives you everything. If you're new and you're hanging out with us, seeing this for the first time, this is a great way to start to think about some filters that you would put in the model. This is, and again, I would do a couple at a time. Don't just do all these. You're not going to find any results. Pick and choose and, think through it. That's why we try to do it here in the show. Try to structure our content around it for you too. So obviously you can get all these different course metrics and past leaderboards. So go back to the 23. This is the start of Swamp Ass. Real hot Lucas Glover summer.
God, I know Glover popped up in a couple things too. I don't know if I can bet him.
Yeah, he's going to keep the ball in play off the tee, right? So if you're putting any weight on distance from the edge of the fairway, driving accuracy, good wedge play, you're going to get some pretty positive Lucas Glover results. So, yeah, here's the 23 leaderboard. Probably not going to take you long to guess who I had bets on for this one. Lucas Glover lost, or Lucas Glover won. But, look, approach. You got to gain on, everyone's gaining putting to win. And, the winner's getting to 20 for the most part. But, you're kind of hovering in the low to mid-teens, still covering yourself into a top 10. So it is one of those tracks that there are birdies out there for the winner. But it's definitely still on the easy side, but it's not. I don't think we're climbing up into the mid 20s from a winning standpoint. So even Kiz, which is crazy to think that Kisner.
Kiz kind of played good last week. I watched.
It was a playoff, right? There's like 15 people in this playoff.
Yeah.
That's what that was. 21.
I mean, this is a shorter track. Is it Kevin Kisner? Is he in the field?
He's in the field.
I would assume he is. Played last week. He didn't play so bad last week.
He didn't.
I just remember watching him play TGL and be like, oh my God, this guy won events like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But
Sneds. Sneds is in the field too, I think. He had this is the 59 in the first round, I believe. Yeah. 2018. So just Herminator, some wild names here. To your point. Look at the leaderboard. This is a Roger Sloan. This is the website.
That's what I'm saying. If you see a guy and you're like, oh my God, do I really like this guy? He's like 150 to 1. Not the worst week to take some long shots for top 20, top 30, top 40. Because if a guy gets it and he has the skills to play here, I'll say, and he's playing well. Some of these names they're playing good golf. I'm not saying bet Kevin Kisner, which God, Kisner's can be in like the second to last group now because we dogged on him a little. But don't be afraid to look too far down. I'm as far as just jumping way ahead to betting. It's super hard to get excited about betting Matt Fitzpatrick or Aaron Rye at these prices when there's so many guys that are just not that far off. They're like 50, 60, 80 to 1.
Well, have you made any bets?
Like I said, Keegan, 29.60. Best price I found. I took one and then I took 2 longer shots so far. I'll probably have Rico. Rico's like 70. Maybe I can find a better number on him. 65 at Chris and 80 at Bovada. So 3 longer shots then. Rico Hoey, he came up, high enough in most of my models as far as the ball striking. Let me pull up what I was looking at a little bit before. Alex Smalley, real good driver of the ball.
He's a member at Sedgefield.
Member. Great. Like everything I pulled, birdies are better. Super high. Driving accuracy, top 30. And he's another one. It's like he's a pretty goddamn big price. Where we had him 80-1. Another 80 to. Oh, I'm looking at Rico Hoey, first round leader, 80. No wonder I found 65. All right. So the best Rico number 70. Excuse me. I hate it when they put first round leader on the same page as odds to win when you're using Control F. And
I see it bigger on Chris. Is that Chris number old?
Where is it for Hoey? 65. Yeah. 75, 80. I was looking at first. He's shorter for first round leader. He's 65. So, all right. Hoey at 75. Smalley at 80. And then a big old bomb. Adam Svensson is somebody I've played already.
Okay.
He's a Canadian.
Got off to a good start in Detroit or in 3M in Blaine.
Yeah. Played pretty well. Little struggled off the tee at times, but
that's nice.
Still, good enough. I mean, he top 20 last week at the 3M. What was the other result that I looked at for him was, just last year here. He top 10 here last year after playing pretty decent at the 3M. Again, and Smalley, if I recall right, I do want to kind of bring up his page real quick. I feel like Smalley played top 5 at Myrtle Beach, which is a different kind of course, but not so different that I can't use it in my comparisons because it works. It's nearby. It is nearby because it works for me. But yeah, Adam Svensson, 125-1 at Bet Online right now. I kind of can't avoid some of these long bombs here. So I haven't found my guys in the middle yet. I got my short one in Keegan. I've got some real long shots at 75 or better. And the middle, I don't know where to go because Harry Hall, real good putter. Not sure I trust him at a course like this. I'd rather use Harry Hall at a resort course with some wide open fairways. Adam Scott, real pure, plays. He kind of fits everywhere, but I don't know what was keeping me off him. I think it was maybe some of the short game. Kitayama, what are we going to bet him back to back at 50? No. I guess he pops up and everything, but
the ball striking is going to be
people's focus can be pulled away after they win an event and take home 1.5 milli and the putting as well. So it leaves like Sung Jae, Poston, which I don't hate. Grazerman, we've shown he's had some good performances here before. A name I wanted to get your opinion on, and he played decent at times last week. Ricky Fowler with a just absolute, small town garage auto mechanic dirt ball mullet that he is rocking. It looks pretty bad. Do you remember he had long hair when he was younger, and it was like the big
like
fluffy,
the kids nowadays,
the fluffy flip,
and
now he grows his hair out and it's this greasy mullet. I don't understand if he got like a hair transplant. It's just different hair.
Yeah, Jacksonville bait shop vibes.
Oh, yeah. Though he played well at times, so I don't know.
Not on my radar. Not on my radar. I've actually bet. So I have same allocation of funds as normal. I have 8 guys on my card this week. I took some swings deep. So a couple at the top and nothing in the middle. And then just living in the 90 to 110 range. Because I think there are some viable options. So I did start with Ben Griffin. I played Ben Griffin at 28. I was tough because I picked Ben Griffin over Keegan, which is really hard for me.
Big mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel super good about it. But again, Carolina boy. I like, he likes this Bermuda grass. He's just got a lot to play for. I think he's played pretty well outside of the UK trip. That didn't go very well, but everything else leading up to it's pretty good. And he's played well on comp courses. I think Colonial, some of those tighter positional golf courses I'm really looking at this week, leaning on, places like Walleye, Colonial, Harbor Town. Even if you played well on a longer course that still, puts a premium on accuracy off the tee. Those are some of the ones I'm really leaning on this week. I think Muirfield Village is a very, very different golf course, but you really can't compete at Muirfield Village if you're playing from the rough. And Ben Griffin competed in Muirfield Village, so I like that number on him at 28. It was a pretty good one. I think a lot of other places had floated out to 20, 22. I think maybe some 25s. Where are we at, Ben Griffin, right now? Kind of towards the top of the board.
24, 25.
Yeah. So feel good about the 28. And I also bet on Hideki at 35. It's the same premise of why I bet Decky at the Open, and it went pretty well. Get like a T16. Clubbing down. He's going to club down again. You have to club down here. He's played well when he just keeps the club head cover on. And
it's interesting.
One at Walleye.
I can't disagree. Yeah.
One in Memphis last year. Bermuda. Hot. Club down. Keep the ball in play. So the rest of it's good. The irons are good. Everything is it's around the green. Elite if he needs it. So the problem there is just, hopefully he just doesn't hit driver, because then he's screwed, right? So I like that. I just thought it was a really bad price on Hideki. And again, he's volatile, and I mean, look, he could just WD because he just feels like it, because it's what he does sometimes. But yeah, I like the price. So again, bad opening rounds at Portrush, and 69, 68, 66 to finish. Gain throughout the back. So
yeah, he went Bryson Light.
Yeah. So
there was a couple guys who were just right out of the gates. It's like, oh no. And he was somebody I looked at. I think I played him there. And it was just dead right away. But overall, if you look at it, like you said, once he got there,
snuck back in a little bit.
The approach game kind of took over, and he looked good.
Yep. I like that one. I like seeing this. I just noticed the number on Chris is significantly shorter, and I think that's always a good indicator on, maybe being on the right side of at least where the line movement is. This is the new one, Andy. I'm shifting gears. I'm not breaking up with Luke Clanton or Michael Thor Bjornsson, but Jackson Koiven is the dude.
Yeah.
90-1. That's a long gone. He's like 58 on Chris or whatever. Do you know where Jackson Koiven grew up?
Around here.
Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Just about 30 minutes east of Greensboro. Plays golf now at Alabama. He's done something that literally no one else has ever done. He won all 4 major collegiate awards as a freshman. Continues to go back. He's going to go back again. He's already earned his tour card. He's going to go back again because he wants to compete with the boys. He's making NIL money, the best amateur in the world. Really strong finish last time out at the ISCO, which you're our alt field specialist. Got off to a rocky start. That course played tough, right? Like I think Meow or whatever won at like 10 under. But he went like
didn't see that coming. Like
no 61 or whatever.
The final score being 10 under. Especially what he did in the final round as well. I expected guys to have 2 rounds like that won and to be at like 18 under. But yeah, what was it? Top 10 at Disco, basically, and then played pretty well. John Deere too.
Yeah,
he's somebody I looked at because there's still a 75 out there.
Yeah, T6 at Disco was a short par 70 that played over par. 66, 68, 68 to finish to get that spot. So really accurate off the tee. He's not going to model very well because we don't have a lot of data on him.
No.
But what we do have shows elite distance from the edge of the fairway numbers, elite accuracy off the tee. And obviously plays at Alabama, nothing but Bermuda. He grew up, here. So he's familiar with that too. So yeah, look, this is a spot where it's just a guy that like we're probably not going to get 90s on for much longer, 75s for very much longer. So I like that price. Andrew Novak at 90. Solid at Harbortown, Colonial, I think another Sea Island guy. Played well. He's got a lot to play for too. So 90 on him, 90 on Bud Colley, Sawgrass, Colonial, top 5, top 10. Good numbers there. So didn't play well in the UK, but these guys are all 90, 90 to 1. And then our guy Ekro at 100, former friend of the show, T6 here last year.
I was close.
Yeah, look, if you look at his player card, it is, let me bring it up. There's a clear delineation of when you need to be considering Austin Eckroat and when you need to not consider Austin Eckroat. It is simply this layout. It is shorter golf courses. Let me give us a little bit of a bigger sample here. Easy scoring, weaker fields, shorter golf courses. Anything here is a
draw a line down the middle, up and down.
It's
a vertical line, splitting it right and left.
You can consider him here this week. This Bermuda's decent, smaller sample, but not bad. So Eckroat at 100. Nico Echeverria modeled very, very well for me. And then I realized I guess our guy PGA tout John Hasselbauer, like flag in the sands. Like Nico was winning this event, has a great history of picking Wyndham winners because I guess there were way bigger numbers on Nico in the past. Models pretty well in like less than driver stuff too. So Nico at 100, even though that's going to end up being when our guy Golf Tip Checker puts the wheel out this week. It's half the wheel is going to be Nico Echeverria. So look, he models well. I get it. Let me show you here's what I think I did model wise. I don't know if I have it, but look, this is, I think, an easy way to kind of do the Eckroat, right? Let's just go easy, very easy, average scoring, short, very short, and average golf courses, weak, very weak, and average fields, right? We just kind of pull out anything difficult, long, and strong from a field standpoint, and you back it up to the last, at least, calendar year, kind of a mixed sample. Here's Grayserman, Griffin, Nico.
Yeah.
Right. So decent sample. Just last calendar year, you're pulling all that stuff out. This is when this guy has popped. So here's your postman. There's Harry Hall that I know you've been talking about. Here's Rico, Eckroat, Koiven.
Suave.
So a good baseline. Like I think I have this actual split and like it's like 20% of my model this week. So Nico chalk, I think, is pretty decent chalk. We'll see. Again, different DFS discussion, but I don't think it's too bad. And who's my last one? Oh, Hisasune. Not playing great, but keeps balling and play off the tee. Played well here last year. Played well at some comp courses. So Hisasune is my last guy. So it's a big card. It's 8 guys. But like I said, it's really just Griffin and Hideki at the top and then 6 bombs.
I followed Hisasune. The fun part, and maybe you can attest to this from your time at Wyndham, the fun part about, I was there on a Friday with my dad and my kid, and following a group that nobody cares about is fun because it's usually just one or more of the players' girlfriends. I've multiple times I've just walked with like someone's girlfriend, and we all know the obvious. McKenna is very low vocal, but a lot of them have wives and girlfriends that just come along and walk the whole thing. And it's funny when nobody else wants to watch because it's like Friday morning or something and nobody's there yet. And it's just the one. So it's funny
the way to do it.
Rio, it was basically just his girlfriend that was walking. And it's funny because my dad was there and I remember her from, I think it was the par 3 at the Masters. Like she put it on, she put it over the water. They let her hit a ball. So I was like pulling up TikToks of her and showing my dad. I'm like, that's this girl here. That'd be a grind. Just watching one guy for 6 hours. Like you got to support him, but those rounds take so long. You're just standing around so much. It's a lot more fun to go watch different players play. But yeah, Rio played well. I watched him for a little bit, like I said, and he's somebody on my radar. Other guys that, almost made it for me. Like you said, Harry Hall just couldn't quite do it. Andrew Putnam still might.
Yeah, I get
Wasn't some of the scoring metrics weren't great for him.
Okay.
Didn't love it. His total driving, proximity, birdie or better stuff wasn't super good. Ben Griffin obviously modeled well, but it's short, and I don't want to have that many short guys. A guy I was a little concerned about with the hip injury, Garrett Higo, he played fine last week. He's another one too that looked pretty good in the approach, and he's a pretty decent putter. It's just the driving accuracy that's probably going to keep me away from him.
I watched a few Higo holes practice rounds here last year, and he could not find the short grass for the life of him here last year. I think he missed the cut, I'm pretty sure. But I watched a few practice round holes, and yeah, he's spraying it.
Yeah, he's I think you can forgive someone who's middle of the pack driving accuracy, but in the sample size I'm looking at, he ranks 111th. It's just really hard to, like I said, everything, it's a closed loop system. You can't repeatedly hit balls out of the grass and expect the rest of your game to elevate enough or out of the long grass and expect, everything else to just sort it out. You have to be, at worst, I think, average off the tee at finding the fairways, especially here when you're going to be clubbing down. So, and everybody who, has some degree of accuracy is going to be able to find a ton of fairways with their 3 woods. And then the last one, and this one's gross, and I don't think I can do it, but Zach Johnson.
I mean,
I know.
No, I don't know how you can do it, but I mean, if you're going to do it, it's going to be a place like this.
So yeah, this would be a top 20 play. This isn't. I'm betting Zach Johnson to win this event, but this is definitely a place where ZJ can play well. He's just an uncomfortable person to look at. Like it just looks. He missed the cut last. That's the thing. He missed the cut last week. He hasn't. It's funny. What was his best result this year, Ryan? Without looking,
Masters.
It was the Masters. He top 10 the Masters. Doesn't have another top 10. I think he has only one other top 20, maybe. The Valero. He was close at Sony, but yeah, a ton of cuts. I don't know what to make of this guy. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Probably staying away, but he modeled well enough here. It's just a good course fit. But I think for my money, you did talk me into Koiven because he's somebody I was looking at. I like a guy like that who, he's not going to model well because the sample's not there, but you've seen him golf, and it's just like, kid's got it. Go look at some of the stuff he's doing in Auburn. He's elite, and he's going to be.
I mean, you win all 4 as a freshman. I mean, think about John Rahm was an insane amateur. Justin Thomas was an insane amateur. Ludwig, Thor. Some of these guys have, Clanton. Like, Clanton didn't win. Clanton was at FSU, and Koiven won. Yeah. Haskins, Nicholas. Like, he obviously couldn't win the Mickelson's a freshman award, but like, Koiven won all those against those guys. So it's pretty impressive. I mean, he's just, I don't know. It just feels like a matter of, it's not like baseball. Like Skip was the number 1 draft pick and he never made it to the majors. Like, that happens often, or it used to happen often in baseball. Like, if you're one of the best top amateurs and you're winning all these awards, like, those guys have a decent hit rate comparatively.
That tends to trend towards, and he's got his tour card through there's the accelerated program now, and it's basically like, which I love because it's just like, why should we make this guy go through the ringer?
For sure.
We want him on TV as soon as possible. Like, this is good for the tour. Guys who are this good this early need to be playing in tour events as soon as possible. So as much as we dog on the PGA for being just basically terrible at business and somehow rich, I mean, they're just full Hudsucker proxy. It just, I don't understand how some of the decisions they make, but the accelerated program is a good decision. So, and yeah, he's another one where I'll bet him outright. I found a 75, not as good as yours, but that's another top 20 bet as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to come on here next week and have Koiven. He wins by 5, and we're having Koiven Ryder Cup discussions.
Oh God, don't need that. So Keegan will just be straight up outright, but Hoey 75, Koiven 75, Smalley at 80, and
Nice.
the other one, Adam Svensson at 125. Those will be top 20 bets as well. Make some smaller, kind of spread the card out a little. And I don't usually do that, but you get a taste of it last week, and now it's all I want. Yeah. Hell, Coles. I should bet Coles again. It's not like he models poorly here.
No, I think Mayo had him at the top of his model.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's
small. It's small sample size, but guy played good golf last week. He missed. I went around with his group for 4 or 5 holes, and it was fun. He was with some other very young golfers. But he was burning some edges. If he'd have made a couple of those putts, which kind of stinks because it's not a tough putting surface, but he was just a little off in the greens. Otherwise, I might have been in the mix come weekend time.
Yeah. He where is he here? Might not have enough data.
He just it's a small sample size problem for him when you're doing some of the modeling, but
for sure. All right, I think that does it for us. It's pretty good. A good week to do that. I think it's a really good week to take some shots, whether it's finishing positions or some stabs down the board outright wise, because they're in play here, right? This is a
new hat. It's got
unique
fish.
Oh, fish on it. That's nice.
I was proud of the 3M Open for not having giant letter hats, but they did have the one upside down letter hat. Which
did have the upside down. Yeah.
I almost just took them all and hit them behind some shirts. Nobody should buy this. Just horrible. So
it'd be hard to have a 3M. There's just not enough characters to have one of the big letter hats.
I would do MMM.
That's actually not bad.
If you were doing it, it would be MMM because that's what it was. Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, baby. They make Post-it notes. Everybody's used the 3M product.
Oh yeah,
pride of Minnesota. Oh,
3M holding all these bad boys up.
Oh, you use Scotch tape?
Yeah,
3M. Scotch-Brite. All right. Yeah, Wyndham. I've stayed at a Wyndham hotel as well. So same. No big deal. I have a Wells Fargo. Oh, Wells Fargo's not a sponsor anymore. I got to switch banks, I guess. Is Capital One? How do they not get into the golf game a little more?
I know.
It feels like they do plenty of advertising. I digress. Well, run through your card one more time, too, just because it was so big.
Yeah, it's big. It is Ben Griffin, 28. Hideki at 35. Jackson Koiven at 90. Bud Cauley at 90.
Bud Cauley, yes.
Andrew Novak at 90. And then 3 at 100 or bigger. Ekro, Echeverria, and Hisasune.
Love his name. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll be back for the playoffs. Memphis next week. Smaller field, a lot of money, good field, elite field. It's a fun course to talk about. We'll get to that next week for sure. If you have any guys that you love way down the board, I'd love to hear about them. You can follow us on Twitter and just tweet at us. This broadcast is on YouTube and it's a podcast as well, but it's also being put up on, just Twitter Live, so you can respond to that. If you have a huge bomb that we missed and you love this week, I'd love to hear about it. Respond to us on Twitter, put it in the comments on the YouTube, whatever. Hit us in the Discord if you're in there already. If you want to join the Discord, we still have the promo summertime, 50% off your first month, which is a pretty damn good deal in my opinion. Promo code summertime, all one word, betspertsgolf.com. See ya next week.
Summer.